I'm here to support President Trump. You want to know why I'm here to support President Trump? Because they done did black men like this for decades. Make up charges and put them, so I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt for Trump 2024, and I mean that.
What do you think about the indictments?
Oh, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's going around the country. You know, Fannie Willis, she went to school with my sister. She's full of shit. So she's a puppet for the white liberal that is controlling everything. She's in front, but the white liberal back there pulling those strings, telling her what to do. That's what I think about her, making a fool of herself.
Do you think it's going to help his election?
Of course it is. It's going to elevate him all the way. I think we should make Trump king.
Welcome to the CBC Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to the home of entrepreneurship, modern dating, current events, cryptocurrency, finance, sports, and much more. Thank you for being here. We're adding things to it now. Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe to the channel on your way in and on your way out. We appreciate it. All the help we can get with the algorithm will benefit us greatly. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's get into this. What do we get into today? So today, we're going to have some fun, man. We've had fun, but
we always have fun.
Not this much fun, because we're about to really lay in and have a good time. And we're going to be asking a lot of questions today. Now, you saw the clip in the beginning. You saw the gentleman, Derek Gibson is his name. We've been laughing about Derek for a while now. So you saw that Derek went viral. That clip was from about a week ago, maybe a week and a half. Derek has now been on a couple of popular podcasts. That's how I found him on my YouTube feed. You know, I find everything on my YouTube feed. And how I find my current events is also through my YouTube feed. Yeah. So Derek, when he showed up on some of my feeds, I'm like, what is this guy? And I seen his shirt, and I'm like, what is this guy? Right. So I listened to the clip, and because I didn't know this, like I had to tell Amina, I had to call her and say, hey, I got an idea for a show here, because what I'm seeing is that apparently the Trump mugshot that came out appears to maybe have had the opposite effect of what the powers that be wanted it to have. So
I love it.
It seems that the more that they bang on Trump and bring up more charges and all these things on him, it seems like it's now starting to, like, they've pushed the envelope so far, right? So now the pendulum is kind of swinging back this way.
They always do.
So the question that I have for the audience today is the pendulum swinging back the other way? Have we pushed so far on not just Trump? Trump, I think, is just one facet, right? We've been talking about this, but we've been talking about for a while society, right? Like pushed so far to the left during the COVID and lockdowns and all these things that it just was this.
Up until now.
Everybody's seen the pirate ship ride that shoo, right? It shoos real far.
It's over there and it's stuck in the air.
And then it stops. Like, you remember, and everybody's screaming when it's up here, right?
Well, that's what the liberals have done. It's over there and it's stuck over there. And
it got stuck here, right? And now everybody's screaming like, oh my God, let it go back to the middle. Or at least a little bit back to the middle, right? Because what happened is, and a good buddy of mine, we spoke about this, and I told him, he knows who he is, he's watching the show. I told him probably a year and a half ago, he and I had a debate, and I told him that the hardcore left was going to push so far that they were going to push people like him out of the party. Remember I always talked about that? Mm-hmm. Because if you're somewhat moderate, if you're somewhat, you have, progressive ideas and all these things, you're a centrist, maybe left to center. What happens is you're going to get pushed out of that left to centerist, and then you're going to be pushed to what they're going to call you right wing, just if you're just like over here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so you don't agree with all this craziness that they're talking about. You're now right wing. You're considered, right?
Or white supremacist.
Or they'll just call you a white supremacist, or you're the MAGA.
They like to call you names.
Whatever new shaming language that these people come up with. they come up with it to try to tar your image, right? Tar and feather you and make you look horrible. But what I'm starting to see is that it's not working.
No.
It's not working.
It's not anymore.
So one anecdotal piece of evidence, and before I pose the question, I'm going to ask Amina, and then I'm going to ask the audience, and I'm going to ask Amina. So one anecdotal piece of evidence is that, so apparently in the 2020 election, Joe Biden got, I believe it was 91% of the black vote in 2020. Right now, he's polling at around 60% with that same black delegation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which has triggered some panic on that side of the aisle because they need that vote. The election's too close. You can't lose one of the power brokers that you're normally getting, right? You can't lose that because then you might lose for real. Like, forget about all the shenanigans and forget about all the vote stuff that's going on. Forget about all that.
The voter fraud and the mail-in ballots.
Forget all of that. Let's just say that let's assume it's on the up and up. Let's assume this. I know that's a huge assumption, but let's assume that everything's on the up and up. And you can't count on that contingency that you normally were getting because you've seen guys like Ice Cube has come out, a very prominent black man has come out speaking for Trump. You've seen other guys, hysteric guys come out, and it seems to be at least a bit of a groundswell of more prominent black people that are coming out and actually being in favor of Trump. Full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, and I'll explain why. In 2016, I didn't vote for either him or Hillary, and I was ridiculed, vilified, tarred, and feathered for that too, because I was supposed to vote for the lesser of two evils. Mm-hmm. Anybody who's doing that, y'all are dumb. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. The lesser of two evils always cracks me up. But I voted for a third party candidate, and I explained to people at that time why I did so, right? And I was called all kinds of, oh, you're stupid. You threw away your vote and you're dumb and I can't believe it. But it's funny now because now I'm talking to other people who are actually talking about doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like they're so disillusioned with both sides of the aisle that they're talking about now going third party, which people, if you only understood that you have the power, this whole system would be different. Because you do not have to vote for either the blue team or the red team. You don't have to. You actually have a choice. If you actually look at the ballot, there's a lot of other candidates on the ballot that you could do your own research on. Like you get a copy of the ballot, you could do your own research on, and you could identify the candidate who most aligns with how you see the world, and you could vote for that candidate. If we had an intelligent voting populace, that's how it will work.
Yeah.
Right?
But they know people won't do their homework, that people will do what they kind of put in front of them. That's why they give you the illusion of two choices.
Yeah.
They pick them.
So they present you with the illusion of choice, which is usually two guys that are usually not that far apart on most stuff. And they give you one or two things to really divide you, to make you go on one side or the other. But in reality, you don't have to vote for either one of those people. Like and I've told people that this before, and they're like, yeah, but you're just throwing your vote away because not enough people are going to do that. Why don't you do it, though? See, that's called thinking for yourself. That's called actually making a logical, intelligent decision based on your own deductive reasoning, not just listening to what your Facebook feed said that you must vote for this team because they said this, or that team supports this, so you must vote. But you don't really like those guys, right? But you don't have enough stones to go your own way, right? So what I'm starting to see is, I'm enlightened, I'm happy about this because I'm seeing prominent black people come out and actually say this now. Like actually say, man, you know what? I'm taking a deeper look this time. I'm not just going to go based on what I'm told or what I'm told to do. Now, going back to what I said about Trump, the reason I don't like him is because I think he's very polarizing. He's very divisive. He doesn't give you a chance to look at his record of what he's done because he's too busy sticking his foot in his mouth. He allows the mainstream media to rile him up and get him into these pissing contests.
All the wonderful things that he did do were overshadowed by his Twitter and his mouth. Like people are actually having hindsight now because I love hindsight. They have hindsight now. So they're all looking back going, I remember this, and this was good. And this, and this was good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening now. And that's coming out of people that actually voted for Biden.
Well, because the truth hurts, right? Like facts are facts, right? I mean, and the facts are this, because we speak facts here. We don't talk about feelings. We speak facts. A lot of people don't like facts if they don't speak to their preconceived narrative. People don't like facts.
I have feelings.
Yeah, you do, which me and her argue all the time because she has those feelings. But what I'm telling you is that I asked a friend of mine. He was ranting and raving. He hates Trump, right? And again, I don't like Trump because of his polarization, and I believe he gives the left every excuse they need to continue doing what they're doing. So he's part of the problem in that way. However, if we look at his policies that he had in place from when he got elected in 2016 up to about 2019, pre-pandemic, most people that I know, at this point, I would say almost all, it's probably like 99% of people I know who are doing much better financially. We were not talking about inflation. We weren't talking about, people weren't worried about their rent going up by 30% overnight. So we were actually doing economically much better.
Not just economically. I mean, a lot of those things people didn't see that he did, or it was overshadowed by his mouth. The things that he did for Black people while he was in office. And I asked you, because I know there were some things that he did, but I didn't know them specifically. So I said, please find out what they are. Tell me what they are, because I know he put more things into place, because everybody keeps saying that he did. So what are they?
Well, one thing in particular that, and I had to get educated on this from a friend of mine who's into this kind of stuff, and he has all these facts. One thing that he did was he secured permanent funding for the historical Black colleges, so the HBCUs. He actually went to Congress and said, hey, why do these colleges have to come forward every year and request money for their funding? Why don't we just put it in the legislation to just give it to them, right? So they don't have to come back every year and ask for it, right? Mm-hmm. So he actually got that approved. So now every year, I think that was 2016 or 17 when he did that. Mm-hmm. So the HBCUs were able to secure their funding. Now, most people would think that Obama did that, right? I mean, you would think, like, somebody asked me that question. They said, which president secured permanent Black funding for the Black colleges? And I thought it was Obama too. I said, oh, well, Obama did that. That's wrong. So I was wrong. I was like, oh, wow. And then, so if you actually look at policy and actually look at what's put pen to paper, he did do a lot of things policy wise that were good for the country, good for economics, good for people of color. Unfortunately, you don't get a chance to look at any of that stuff because he was too busy on Twitter, fighting and bickering with people, arguing with people, talking about it's my stock market. I did this. I did that. He has an incredible amount of hubris, which unfortunately takes away and detracts from the positive things that he did do. So it makes it hard to really like the guy because of that.
But I think a lot of people that I've spoken to, a lot of brown people that I've spoken to, and I work with a lot of brown people, a lot of Islander brown people that came to this country and were Democrats when they came, because of, the speech and the way they outlined that they're going to take care of people, which they found out now that they don't do what they say that they're going to do. They regret what they've done, and they don't like Biden anymore. I'm telling you.
Did they like him before?
Now, of course they did. They did until
I don't see how. I honestly don't see how. Well,
they didn't know any better, but now they know. It's everything that's happening in real time. I mean, how do you get away from what's happening in real time? If cocaine was found in the White House while Trump was in office, they would not have stopped talking about it by now. It would have been a total witch hunt. They would have been after the whole family. We all know that it's them. But They swept it under the rug. We all know about Biden's laptop. We all know about Hunter's crack cocaine escapades with hookers and pink panties. We all know. But I guess, but if it was the shoe was on the other foot, that's the thing. You always say, I want you to have the same energy that you had for Biden or for Trump that you have for Biden. Go after this guy the same way. Just, can we be even, guys? Why does the left always kind of trying to get away with stuff? We sweep it under the rug. It's like, it's okay for them to protest and burn the country down and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, everything that's happened. Well, just in this year and last year, women's sports has gone to shit. Not to shit, but we have people that are, you know, the weight deadlifters are men, the swimmers are men that say, I feel like a girl today.
The beauty pageant winners are men.
All because of the left.
So, okay. Now, let me throw this in. So, because Amina was on a roll there. Here's one of the issues that I have with people who told me that, you know, they voted for Biden because they felt essentially obligated to, because it was, even though, I mean, most of them, when you ask them, most of them would say, no, I don't think that he's the right guy. I wish he wasn't running. I wish it wasn't him. But they go back to the lesser of two evils argument. But then look what the boat that we're in now. Because here's what I don't think anyone, and guys, listen, here's all I'm saying. I'm politically agnostic. I keep saying I'm going to bring my voter's registration card so that I can show you that it says independent across it.
We'll have to do that one day.
I don't prescribe. I'll do it next show so I could prove to you guys. I don't prescribe to either side of the aisle. What I do prescribe to is truth and fact. So here's what I know.
And even in fairness and balance. And there's no balance between the two parties.
That's the problem. The problem is this. Here's my issue.
Or the media or the people against the two parties.
When they indicted Trump and they put these charges on him, I was getting a bunch of text messages from people and they were ding dong, the witch is dead, right? They
were so happy.
I mean, guys were having a blast talking about it. And listen, that's cool. But here's what my question was. I don't even have a problem with the indictment. I don't even care. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about none of the charges. I don't care if he did. Here's the way I see it. If he did something illegal and they find it and they're able to prove it in a court of law, then he deserves to go to jail. That's the way I see it.
But
here's the counter argument that I do also have. And I ask these guys the same question. Should they also now turn around and indict people who we know are criminals? Hillary, the whole Biden family. I mean, we don't need to split. I don't think we really need to split hairs with them. I mean, we can, but I think in general, you could probably get a general indictment against the entire family, right?
The Biden crime family.
So my only thing is this. Fine. Go after Trump, indict him. Do what you need to do. When you're done with that, come and indict these people who we know are criminals. That's all I'm saying. To your point, keep that same energy that you have. I'm with y'all. If y'all, lock them up, throw away the key, but then come back and get those folks.
Yes.
Because y'all know they're criminals.
Yes.
That's what I have a problem with. Because what happens is people will sit there and cheer for that, but then they know this dude is corrupt. I mean, we just talked about a few of the things going on with them, with that family.
That's just a couple.
Are we going to sweep that under the rug? Are we really going to do this, guys?
We haven't even addressed the fact that he's very old. I work with the elderly population on a daily basis. I work with Alzheimer's and dementia patients every single day. And in my clinical professional opinion, this man has dementia. He's old. He should retire. I take care of people between the ages of 65 and 100. Mm-hmm. They're not working. They're ill. They're sick. This man is old. Why are we
pretending
the elderly to run the country? This is a big job. And he can't complete a sentence. He's falling all over the place. He can't take direction. I mean, are we blind to this?
I think some people quite honestly are. Like, I think some people are willing to, and I mean it, they're willing to sit there and act like they don't see what everyone sees. The things that you just said. This man is not cognitively there. Even these dudes that were sending me the text about Trump, even they admit, yeah, the guy's too old. He needs to go. So the fact of the matter, I don't even care about Trump. Let's talk about your guy that's in there right now.
I always say that.
That's
Let's
what I want to talk
about present moment.
I don't want to hear about, you know what people will do?
January 6th.
They'll go back and they'll bring up January 6th and they'll go back to 2016, the Russia collusion.
Is this way because of Biden.
Oh, and it'll be a whole myriad of it. That's all neither here nor there.
No, the economy is this way because of Trump. Biden's trying to fix it. Are you serious?
Listen, I don't even debate with people who, like, there's a lot of people who honestly, they will ignore whatever fact that doesn't support their narrative. They will totally just disregard it as part of the argument. Like, this is why I don't debate with a lot of people anymore, because I realize what happens to folks. You'll have them cornered with logical facts. You'll show it to them in black and white, and they will still disregard all of that if it goes against their preconceived narrative that they have in their mind.
They'll look you dead in the face and say, because we don't stand for hatred and racism.
Okay. So
it's okay to be bullies and destroy the country and burn it down because of something that you believe is happening that's not happening.
So here's a real problem, guys. And I'm going to share my screen. You should be seeing on the screen, there's an article here from Axios that says polling signals Biden slippage with Black and Hispanic voters. And if you read this article, I'll leave a link in the description. But basically what it talks about is the margins that, typical, historically Democratic candidates get in the Black and the Latinos. Y'all been waking up for a while now. That's what I learned about this article. Like, I learned that in the article. Y'all been waking up for a while because you guys have been slowly but surely kind of pulling away from the Democratic Party. And guys, I recommend that you actually read that article. I'll leave a link in the description. But the problem is if he's only at 60%, that's a serious issue for the Democrats. So what I believe they're going to do is what we're going to see as we get into crunch time, moving into next year's an election year and all these things. Get ready, man. You thought you saw something last time? Just wait. I mean, at this point, my goodness, Trump might be under the jail by the time they have the election, right? The dude
won't matter.
Hey, the dude might be on Alcatraz all by himself. He'll be looking. Did I get Iowa? You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're trying to eliminate my dude altogether, right? They're like, "Look, dude, we don't want you to run. Period."
They're terrified.
Let's get rid of you. They
have to be terrified. Why are they going after him so hard? Because they know, he's killing it.
Well,
killing it in the polls. And people feel more like they can relate to him now, especially when you're throwing BS charges at somebody when people have kind of been there before.
Well, you heard the guy in the clip.
Yeah.
You heard, there's a lot of Black folks that are actually talking about it. That's just one guy. Like, there's a whole bunch of Black folks right now on YouTube talking about this stuff. Like, and so that's why I was like, hey, we got to do a show on this, because what my question to you is, where are you stand right now? Like, where are you stand? Like, we had to go to the polls today. Which way are you? Y'all already know which way I'm going to vote. I've already told y'all the way I do it. But what way are you going to do it?
Well, you know what's happening, and this is what is going to happen between now and 2024 election. It's happening now. It's happening in real time. There is a pressure happening. There's a compression happening to people. People are being squeezed. They're being pressed with their money, with their freedoms, with their money and their freedoms. I think that's enough. And everything else that's ushering in, change comes about with pressure. You change your life. You can change reality. You can change a coal into a diamond with pressure. People wake up when they've just been pushed to their brink and they can't take anymore. And what's happening is people are waking up because they're seeing what's happening. It's forcing them to see before they were asleep, everything was hunky dory, everything was fine. They
life
just wanted
was going on.
they just wanted to taste the steak.
Life was going on. Like nobody was. You really wasn't paying too much attention because life was just kind of going on, and you really didn't really think you. But now, I mean, listen, guys. People are feeling it. Like everybody's feeling the financial squeeze. Everybody is. Like forget the elites. They never feel anything. They're the ones that cause all the problems. But those of us, especially the middle class, we're always getting squeezed. Like always.
Well, we pay for everybody.
Yes, we do. Like we pay for everything here in the middle class. So we get crushed. So we're getting crushed like, and it's like on Star Wars when they were in the garbage chute. That's what it feels like.
It forces you to wake up. It forces you to look around. It forces you to second guess what's going on here. What are they saying? What are they doing? I don't trust these guys anymore, and then you start going into your own these rabbit holes, and you start finding new information, and you start changing your tune, and you say, you know what? I ain't voting for these people no more.
And you start, and that's when you have true control, is when you actually think and act for yourself. And that's really all I'm trying to get you guys to do is just to think for yourself. Come up with look at the world through your own prism.
Don't allow the television to give you your opinion.
Stop believing everything you hear. Like I even say it on here. Every time we come on here, I say, don't take my word for anything I say here. Go do your own research, because this is just another avenue of information, right? Just like your TikTok, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever the case may be. Hopefully you're not still watching the mainstream, but if you are, that's part of the information process. You're getting input from all these places, right? And then you have to determine, okay, what's real and what's not. What we know is real is we know the economy is in dire straits. We know inflation is kicking everybody's butt. We know that we continue to send blank checks to Ukraine. Like we know all this stuff, guys.
We send blank checks to Ukraine, but we give $700 to our families in Maui and in Hawaii, and everybody knows what happened over there. And
there'd be more to that one.
Yeah,
there'd be a lot more to that one. But just tell me. I mean, listen, guys, if you disagree with this, it's great. But I want you to leave in the comments and tell us why. Because what I notice is that most people that I'll have a debate with, any kind of a political debate, the instant that they detect that I'm not a hard leftist, I get a ton of resistance. Like the moment that they detect that I'm not a hard leftist, like, and they'll always like, they'll ask you a question, or it'll be something that's, usually some liberal crap that they're trying to push. And I'm like, I'm not with that. And then they'll try to like, oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, you must.
For me, the immediate question is, well, how do you feel about abortion?
Yeah.
And that's the very first question a liberal female will say to me. Well, what about abortion? And I just look at her like,
something that's 99.9% within your own control, and that's something that we debate. That's a whole nother show that's super divisive, but. The reality is that those are things that they want you to focus on, stuff that's actually within your own control.
You know what
I mean?
And it's a big selling point.
I don't know why. I've never been able to understand why. Like, because you literally have control over who has access to your body.
Yeah.
Except now, I already know. There's going to be somebody in the comments that says, well, what about that 14-year-old girl that got raped by her uncle and she wasn't able to get it? It's always they take one anecdotal incident and that becomes the rule. When in reality, 99.9% of the time, you have control over who does. So again, I'm not saying I'm pro or against it. I'm just saying the fact is you have control. There's a lot of other things you don't have control over, like the economy, like your rent.
Yeah.
Right? That stuff.
Like your homeowner's insurance.
Like your homeowner's insurance, like your HOAs and all of these things that went up in price. And then everybody who was making excuses for the left and their terrible policies, their policies are horrible. Most people know this by now. They sit up there and they say, oh, but they still, I swear to goodness, they will still come back and blame Trump. That's why I don't debate with it, because I swear it's like some kind of I don't know what it is, but you'll have them in a corner and you'll have all the facts right here. And they'll still turn around and they'll say one of two things. It's still better than Trump. I swear to goodness. They will sit there.
Are they still saying that?
They will say it's still better than Trump. And, well, I ain't voting for no racists. Those are literally like the two things that I'll hear from like the hardened leftists. Like the one that
they'll live in misery.
Go down with the ship, man. Like let's ride this thing all the way to the ground. Let's give Ukraine all the money. Let's run this country into the ground because I'm going to stick for my team. Mm-hmm. That's when it becomes an issue to me. Like is when people lose their objectivity.
Yeah.
And they
just keep voting for their team colors.
Oh, y'all gonna be sounding like Charlemagne. You're gonna be sounding like it. Man, the people who we give a platform, that's all I'm gonna say, man. There are a lot of people in this country that have a platform that unfortunately, because they have that platform, they think that they're intelligent. That's a really scary situation because a lot of them are stupid. Mm-hmm. They are really dumb. That's why they call them useful idiots, because all you have to do is give them a script to read. That person probably doesn't even really know much about what's going on. They're given a hard copy to read. These people that y'all see, they're almost not real. They're caricatures. They are playing a role in a show that is being presented to you. Most of them do not believe what they're selling you. That's what I'm telling you. Because they're all living in their gated communities. You think they're worried about you and your little inflation? Mm-mm. You think they care?
Still living in their freestanding home that magically didn't get hit by the fire.
Oh,
Maui.
You never hear. Listen, guys, these rich folks, nothing ever happens to them. But they always come out after the fact. Oh, we feel sorry for. No, you don't. No, you don't. Listen, people. Most of those folks on either side of the aisle, their job is to keep their own gravy train going, whatever that may entail. It's just, I mean, I even see it in the entertainment space in my YouTube feed. Like I see guys that their audience expects them to come out and bash movies, right? What if the movie's good? Does he still come out and bash it? That's what his audience expects.
He finds a way.
He does. And I've seen him do it. It's an art form to it. I've seen them do it. These guys are good because they're able to give their audience what their audience, they're really yearning to hear the negativity.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it a shame?
That's why I realized too, when I was following some of these other channels, I realize now, like why some of the channels that started off on a path, like maybe what we're on, that's maybe like kind of a learning path and kind of a growth path and how can we help each other and those things. I see why they end up pivoting to the negative stuff because that's what gets clicks. That's what gets subscribes. That's what goes viral. That's how we are, folks. This is us. This is society. We're the ones who do it. So when you sit up there and we complain about the people that have these platforms and all the money and all these things, that's because of us. We're the ones who give it to them.
Yeah, I know.
We're bumping up against the time. Like and subscribe to the channel. Leave us a like. We're going to get feedback on this one because half of y'all are probably mad right now at some of the stuff we're saying. These people are stupid. Tell us that in the comments. We want to hear. I just want to know. The open-ended question to you guys is... But
we're black. We're supposed to like Biden, right?
That's what Charlemagne said. or no, that's what, no, my bad. Charlemagne sat there. When they told him he wasn't black, they're probably in his ear. You can't say nothing. These guys are, bro, I swear, I see these dudes and I see them, they're millions of followers. And I'm like, how? Well, I know how though.
It's rigged.
I know how. There's more stuff going on the back end, in the back end. But we'll talk about it another time. Thank you for being here, guys. Like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.